Today we're rebuilding Southampton, but I asked my viewers to give me a challenge, and viewer Badakuta suggested that I only use English or Academy players. That's certainly one heck of a challenge, so let's get right into it. Since I can only use English or Academy players, I'm gonna start by looking at what kind of team I can build from the get-go. After scrambling around all the squads of Southampton, this is the best team I can build. Yeah, it's not great. A pretty much empty bench, not even enough midfielders to fill out a starting 11, and I don't think veteran Oliver Lancashire will keep up in the Premier League. So the goal for the first transfer window is simple. Bring in a ton of players to build a team that's hopefully somewhat able to play in the Premier League. Our transfer budget is pretty much empty, but luckily we have a ton of players that we can't use in this challenge, which we can sell for a bit of cash. It's gonna be an active transfer window. Let me do all the transfers and then get back to you to see if we even have a team to play our first game. The first transfer window is done, and you can call us the new Nottingham Forest, because a lot of things happened. Starting with the outgoing transfers, we've managed to sell a lot of the ineligible players for this challenge, raising more than 100 million euros in player sales. But every cent was needed, because we managed to bring in 15 new players to build a starting 11 and some good rotation options to survive this first season in the Premier League. Let's go through all our new signings, starting with the least exciting, but building to some amazing players. We've started with some free signings to fill out the bench. Tyler Blackett and Andre Wisdom were signed to provide some rotation options for the centre-back position. Veteran Dale Stevens also joined the bench, covering for the midfield positions. And hey, Danny Rose still plays football, so he joins on a free as our backup left-back. For the first signing that we actually spent some money on, Darnell Furlong joins us as another option for the right back position for a little over 5 million. We saw that we needed a lot of midfielders, so Matt Grimes joins us as a more defensive option for just under 8 million. Not really a new signing, but Nathan Tella, who counts as an academy player, is recalled from Burnley to give us some more options on the wings. We also needed a backup goalkeeper, so talented youngster Etienne Green joins us for a little under 6 million. And our final rotational signing is Elijah Adebayo. The Nigerian English striker joins us for a little under 8 million. Now let's get into the signings that get into our starting 11. The first part of our new centre-back duo is Nathan Phillips, joining us from Liverpool for just under 6 million. And his new partner in crime is Joe Worrell, joining us for 8 million to complete our starting centre-backs. Filling out the midfield as our defensive option is Will Hughes, the widest guy around, joining us for 9 million. Giving us some more options on the wings, Jacob Murphy joins us from Newcastle for just over 7 million. That leaves our 3 most exciting signings. Let's start with our new left winger. Joining us from Rangers, Ryan Kent becomes our new danger man on the wing. We had spent a little under 14 million to get him, but he immediately becomes one of our best players. And I can't call myself a Football Manager YouTuber if I didn't sign Alex Scott for an English challenge. 15.5 million was spent on this amazing youngster, but I hope he can be crucial for us across the entire rebuild. And for our final signing, I wanted to find another academy player since most of my signings have been English up until this point. And there was one player who was out of a contract who you might know. Gareth Frank Bill returns to Southampton for a final trick up his sleeve. Sure, he's gonna retire in January already, but I couldn't resist signing this Welsh magician. Which leaves us with this team, using the 4-3-3 Extreme Vaults tactic, which is linked in the description below. It's not the greatest Premier League side ever, and the season previews got us in and around the relegation zone. So the goal for season 1 is simple: survive the Premier League. Let's get to simulating. Season 1 is done, and you won't believe what happened. While Southampton were relegated in real life, we managed a 5th place finish in Season 1. And when we look at our past positions, we were actually in the top 3 for a lot of the season. We only dropped out later in the season, and I think having to say goodbye to Gareth Bale just before that is not a coincidence. A large part of the credit for this amazing season has to go to Adam Armstrong. A striker who's part of the original Southampton squad, he managed a 25-goal season, finishing only behind Haaland in the top scorer chart. And while you might think this is just a huge overachievement, the XG table actually got us in 5th as well, so we just played amazingly this season. I'm very excited about Season 2, since we can now switch our focus from just getting a team together to actually bringing in some improvements. And with teams like Everton getting relegated, I've got my eye on some players I want to bring in. Let's get to Season 2. Well, I can tell you that Season 2's transfer window was just as active as the first one. Another group of 8 ineligible players from the original Southampton squad left this window, for a combined sum of just over 80 million. Joining them in the departures was Danny Rose. The veteran served us well for a season, but he's certainly someone we can improve on. And the same goes for both our rotational centre-backs, who together joined Ipswich. And finally, our backup goalkeeper Etienne Green was sent out on loan to get some more experience, as we managed to sign a new starting goalkeeper. So let's switch over to our signings. We've got 8 of them to go through, so let's go from least exciting to most exciting. Starting with a player who was already here last season, loanee Maitland-Niles was signed on a permanent for just under 6 million. The Danny Rose replacement as our backup left back was Josh Tymon, who joined us for 6 million. Since Gareth Bale left, we were a bit short on wingers, so I signed Dylan Markanday as a backup right winger. He'll be playing behind Ryan Kent as he's moved over to the right wing position. Our first starter signing is actually an amazing free signing, as Reece Nelson replaces Ryan Kent on the left wing. We've also got another academy player strengthening the midfield, as Harrison Reed returns to the club for 13 million. But we especially went big on our defense, starting with experienced centre-back Tyrone Mings joining us for 9.5 million. And I wasn't kidding when I said that I had my eye on Everton, as English international Jordan Pickford joins us as our starting goalkeeper for just under 10 million. And we weren't done there, as his former Evertonian teammate Jared Branthwaite joins our defensive setup. Spending 28 million on him might be a bit much, but he's got a ton of potential to grow and become a solid rock in our defense. Oh, and finally, maybe not a signing, but Tino Livramento was injured for basically the entire previous season, but he's back now to help us out. And this is how our team is looking like for season 2. I think a real improvement on the previous season. But can we improve on that amazing 5th place finish from last season while playing in the Europa League this season? Let's simulate season 2 and find out. We finished season 2 and we had a small drop in the Premier League to a 7th place finish. Maybe a bit disappointing compared to the previous season, but it's still amazing considering that in real life this season would be a championship season. While we're out here playing in the Europa League and actually getting pretty far, getting knocked out by the Giants Atletico Madrid in the quarterfinals. All in all, I'm pretty happy about the season, as you can't complain about back-to-back European tickets with Southampton. If I had to pick something to be disappointed about, it would have to be our attacking output, and specifically Adam Armstrong, as his goal output has dropped by 50%. He might just not be able to step up to this new level with European football, so let's see if we can improve that with some transfers in season 3. Oh, and if you're liking this viewer-based challenge, let me know by tapping that like button. Season 3 is here and I think we've done some astute transfer business. Starting with the outgoings, we saw Nathan Tella leave for a nice sum of 10 million to Everton. Season 1 signing Darnell Furlong moved to Blackburn for 2 million. Joining him as a Season 1 departure is Elijah Adebayo, moving to the Championship with Reading for 1 million. Veteran backup goalkeeper Alex McCarthy left on a free to join Nottingham Forest. And finally, another backup player that didn't really impress, Josh Tymon leaves after just 1 season for just under 5 million. Now for the incoming transfers, this season saw just 5 players join the team, but they're all a real quality injection. First off, Harry Winks joins us on a free from Tottenham, and it can't hurt to add an English international to our rotation options. Following him from Spurs, Jed Spence is our new backup right back for just under 14.5 million. Since we needed a new backup left back, Jacob Greaves joins us from Hull City for just over 14 million, which leaves our 2 marquee signings of the transfer window. Replacing Adam Armstrong in the starting striker position, Ivan Toney joins the team for 21 million. Let's hope that featuring in this video isn't considered a football related activity, as we need this Premier League proven striker to take our attack to the next level. But he won't have to do it by himself, as Marcus Edwards joins for the 2nd largest fee of the rebuild yet, 27 million. The Englishman who developed his career in Portugal, he'll be hoping to prove himself in the Premier League with Southampton. And with all those deals done, this is how the team is looking like. I'm loving the new refreshed look of our attack. With another season of combining the Premier League with Europa League football, let's simulate season 3 and see if we can improve on last season's 7th place finish. Season 3 is done and we've certainly been able to improve. This season saw us finish in the top 4 of the Premier League, which means that the Champions League hymn will be coming to the St Mary's Stadium. Not only that, we've also managed to make a bit of a name for ourselves in the European competitions, as we managed to reach the semi-final of the Europa League, only getting knocked out by Marseille. And even in the domestic cups we're getting closer, reaching a quarter-final and a semi-final in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup respectively. Adding to our attack certainly seems to have helped, as Ivan Toney was our top scorer in both the Premier League, the Europa League and the FA Cup. But it's not just Toney, I think the entire team is in a very good place right now. The one thing we can do to improve is to bring the age of the squad down a bit by bringing in some young talents. Let's see if we can do just that with Season 4's transfers. We're joining back in at the end of the transfer window for Season 4, and we've certainly managed to bring the age of the squad down a bit. Let's start with the outgoing transfers. Starting with a Season 1 signing, Nathan Phillips leaves the club to go to Brentford, as he wasn't really featuring for us anymore. The same goes for Matt Grimes, who joins Burnley. A good player, but we've improved the squad since he joined, so we don't need him anymore. And the same goes for Jacob Murphy, who joins Middlesbrough, as he was pushed out of the team by better quality players. We also saw another backup goalkeeper leave the team, as Etienne Green really hasn't developed across the rebuild, so he's someone we can improve on. Now for our two biggest departures, starting with Will Hughes. The Season 1 signing was a valuable part of our team, but given his age he wasn't going to develop, so we're looking to replace him with some younger talent. And the final outgoing transfer is starting centre-back Tyrone Mings. He really improved our defense when he joined the team, but at 32 he was starting to decline, so we moved him on to West Ham United. Now for the incoming transfers, and there's 4 players to go through. Let's start with Freddie Woodman, our new backup goalkeeper. Maybe not the youngest, but certainly an improvement on Etienne Green, and he joins on a free. As our Will Hughes replacement, Tommy Doyle joins the team for 17 million from Manchester City, a quality midfielder who's got some room to grow. And I'm also very excited for this talent to join the team. Ashley Phillips arrives from Blackburn for just over 19 million. Joining us as just a breakthrough prospect, I'm hoping he can really develop and maybe surprise us for next season. But finally, our biggest signing yet, replacing Tyrone Mings in the centre-back position, Trevor Chalobah joins us for 37.5 million. This well-rounded, physically dominant player has developed into an English international in this save, and I think he suits our team perfectly. And this is how the team is looking like right now, with Chalobah slotting into the first 11 nicely. But they've got a great challenge in front of them, trying to improve on last season's 4th place finish while competing at the highest level in the Champions League. Can they do it? Let's simulate Season 4 and find out. Season 4 is done, and while I was hoping for another top 4 finish, we've only gone and won the league. Sure, it might have been a record low amount of points to win the league, but a win is a win. We even managed a respectable run in the Champions League at the first time of asking, reaching the quarterfinals, only getting knocked out by Champions League giants Real Madrid. And we're not done there, reaching a final in the Carabao Cup, only losing to Liverpool. An incredible season, and I have to give a spotlight to Alex Scott. This Season 1 signing has grown his current ability to 166, easily becoming our best player. To be honest, I didn't even expect this team to be at this level already, but these English and Academy legends are proving me wrong. So I'm raising the bar for Season 5, as the goal now is to go for back-to-back Premier League titles. But we're gonna have to bring in some real talent to stay at this level, so let's make some transfers. We're at the end of the Season 5 transfer window, and I can tell you that we broke our transfer record not once, but twice. Starting with the outgoings, we've seen one of the longest standing Season 1 signings, Joe Worrell, leave the club to go to Leeds for 19 million after playing more than 100 games for Southampton. We also saw one of the original Southampton players leave the squad, as Adam Armstrong, who served us well, is now off to Fenerbahce. Dylan Markanday, our backup right winger who never really got a proper shout in our team, is now off to Brighton to prove himself. And finally, our backup left back position might be cursed, as Jacob Greaves now leaves the club for 24.5 million. Now for the incoming transfers. 5 players joined the team, so let's go from least to most exciting. As Dylan Markanday left the club, we needed a new backup right winger, so Cole Palmer joins us from Manchester City for 15.5 million. And who better to defend the Premier League title than Harry Maguire? All jokes aside, Maguire is one of the best English defenders in this save, so he's a direct improvement for our team. Talking about a direct improvement, Eddie Nketiah joins the team for 17.5 million from Arsenal, challenging Ivan Toney for the starting striker spot. But I left the two big boys for last. We smashed our transfer record to bring in Ben Chilwell as our new starting left back. The Chelsea player was bought for 45 million and immediately becomes one of our best players. But just 11 days later we broke our transfer record again by spending 53 million on Leicester's Harvey Barnes as our new left winger. Some hefty investments, but with our team now looking like this, we're well set up to try and defend our Premier League title and maybe even go for a double, either European or domestic. So let's simulate the final season and see if we can bring in some silverware. With the final season done, I can happily say we've gone back to back in the Premier League. who really dominated the league this year, as we got top spot in November and never let go. A second trophy was unfortunately a bit too much, as we were the runner-up in both the Carabao Cup and the Community Shield. The less said about the FA Cup the better, as we had a quick exit losing against Brighton. And it seems like we're building a new rivalry in Europe, as we were knocked out by Real Madrid again, this time in the round of 16. All in all, I'm extremely happy with this team, as 2 Premier League titles was way more than I expected beforehand. So this English and Academy only challenge was a success. Now if you've got another great idea for a challenge, let me know in the comments down below, as the most liked comments will determine my next rebuild challenge. In the meantime, check out this video for another great Football Manager challenge. I'll see you on the next video.